Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and today I get to talk to friend and colleague Eric Garza in Texas for an idle chat for the American Bar Association's Section for Dispute Resolution. Hi, Eric, how are you?
Hi, Natalie, I'm doing great. Should I say good evening or good afternoon?
It's tea time for me, yeah.
Okay, it's good morning for me, so salutations.
There you go. Salutations to you, my friend. So Eric, if you haven't watched the other videos, got about 120 questions written out on these cards. I shuffle the cards, I ask a question. These are not heavy thinking kinds of questions. This is not cutting edge journalism.
Trivial Pursuit or anything like that?
It's not even that.
Okay.
No, you need to lower your standard, like by 10%, lower your standards like by 10%.
I've got my phone ready to look up the answer to your questions on Google, so I'm ready to go.
There's no right answer, there's no right or wrong, right?
Okay, okay.
So we will give the cards a shuffle and have ourselves an idle chat.
Where do you get these cards from, by the way? Where do you get these cards from?
The physical card I ordered on Amazon, and the questions are just from, I don't know where I got them.
Okay, all right, ready.
An insane, I'm just a curious cat, I guess.
Okay.
All right, the first card, Eric, Die Hard. Is this a Christmas movie or not a Christmas movie?
God, that sounded like almost like on the level of the Ginger or Marianne, isn't it? Let's see, I'm gonna say not a Christmas movie. When you think of Die Hard, I don't think you think of Christmas. It doesn't have that. To me, it's an exciting action film, sort of like, good guy versus the bad guy, where the good guy prevails and the good guy's sort of like the underdog, and he's witty and funny, and I love that movie. But I don't think of Christmas when I think of that movie at all. Just because it has
well, the whole thing is just set in a company Christmas party.
Yeah, but that's just one segment of they don't show anything about Christmas except just that one part. I mean, I know that's why he's there, and but that's just a little tinge of it. I'm trying to think of a movie that has some reference to Christmas, but it's not really a Christmas movie at all. I'll think of one as we go along, but I'm on the no side. What is the answer?
Yeah, I'm yeah.
What did the survey said? Survey says
it's a Christmas movie.
No, I beg to differ. Okay. Hey, reasonable minds can disagree.
You can have any answer you want. This is your idle chat, my friend.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Need new glasses. This is a good one for you. If you were hired to show tourists around your town, what would you be showing them?
Well, okay, that's a very good question, because I have done this before. I used to have an office downtown, middle of San Antonio, and I loved showing tourists stuff. I love showing tourists our various things, but I always tell them when I would do that, I would say, about the Alamo, about the Riverwalk, you can find those things on any map and so forth. Let me show you where the good places to eat that the locals go to. Let me show you where this place is where people, go to for a little bit of shopping, but it's off the beaten track. So for me, it's and it's not even the big restaurants. It's the little hole in the wall that you don't know about, that maybe got an 86 on the health records, not 100.
Dives and diners.
Yeah, things like that. The convenience store that has that special little candy that you will not get. Yeah. So I don't know if I need to be more specific, but I like to. And you know what? I will tell you this: San Antonio, we've been very fortunate to have many conventions, but also a lot of college athletic events like the Final Four. And it's great because you see all these groups of people wearing all purple, Northwestern, or people wearing, red, Ohio State, and they're all just together, and they're all looking for something to do or somewhere to go. And I just love walking up to those people and say, hey, you guys are not from here. Let me show you. And everyone's just so nice and happy. And then I always just, of course, say, go Northwestern, and they all go crazy. So it's a lot of fun. Tourist downtown.
It's such a nice place to visit. It really, really is. All right, sir, what habit do you have now that you wish you had started much earlier in your life?
That's a good one. I would say investing regularly. When you get older, of course, financially, you start thinking about, your future and so forth. But when you're young, you just kind of live day by day, and most of the time you don't have the means to do it. But anyone could just stock up a little bit here and there, and if you place it, I do remember distinctly, like not having a lot of money, but thinking to myself, if I could only invest in Apple, and this is like in the 80s, if I could only invest in that, and stuff like that. I remember thinking about that, and I just never thought about it because I thought, well, I only have like $70 to my name, so I need to find the next meal. Yeah. So that investing. So if there's anyone under the age of 25 or 30 listening to this, trust me, you can do it. There's a lot of stocks out there that are just, that are not.
There you go. Just start a little savings account.
Yeah, it's called discount brokerage, discount investing. Look it up, and then there are apps. Of course, you can do. I think there's one called Robinhood. I'm going to say, which I'm not quite sure I like the name. It connotes, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. It's not like.
But it's easy to use. Yeah.
Very easy to use. You just put money in there and you invest, and I think a lot of people are doing it. So yeah, good for them. So but too. I wish I would have done that.
I think so too. Eric, I think I know the answer to the next card.
Okay.
But I'll let you answer it. We'll see if I'm right.
This is like a Carmack. Is what the yes. What's the?
Yes. If we were at a talent show, what skill would you perform?
Oh, guitar and singing. I love guitar. Yes. I should say this, I should point out to the audience, I am known as the blues lawyer, at, the @ sign on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Of course, COVID has dashed a lot of my, sort of live gigs, but I'm still playing out there and actually getting paid. That makes me a professional musician, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean, sometimes I get paid in very little cash. Sometimes I get paid in beer. That's still paid.
It works for me. It works for me. Blues lawyer. I like it.
I love it. But I will say this, just to add to that, is that we're all professionals, or a lot of us are professionals. You got to have some diversion. You got to have something, whether it's macrame or painting or something that gets the other side of your brain working.
Exactly. Yeah, we all need that mental health component to our lives. You're so right. Eric, what noise do you love the most?
Noise. Mm-hmm. It would be easy if you said, what noise do you hate the most? Which would be all of them nowadays.
Well, let's flip it around. What noise do you hate the most?
Cat walking around meowing, like right now. I don't like that noise while I'm in a meeting. Cat just meowing. No, actually, I would say really nice, pleasant noise that I hear from time to time is that distant train in the distance when it hits a intersection has this, of course, whatchamacallit?
The train whistle?
The train whistle, there you go. And it's just a perfect distance to where you hear it, but you don't hear it very loud at all. It's just a distant kind of like almost sort of background sounds, really nice peaceful sounds. So in the middle, I'd say about 10 p.m. or so, we'll hear a train go by and you know, and it's nice and calm, very soothing. I like that sound.
Nice soundtrack to your life. All right, Eric, what is the best breakfast?
Breakfast tacos, which I make personally from
What is in
scratch.
a breakfast taco?
Oh gosh, okay. You begin with either a flour or corn tortilla. You flour, tortilla de harina, and then it's basically just flour, you know, like ground flour, with you know, just a little bit of water and oil, sometimes lard, Crisco, from scratch. Now I don't make those from scratch, but I know where to get some good ones. And then, God, how many? It's like 874 permutations of breakfast tacos: potato and egg, chorizo and egg, sausage and egg, bean and cheese, chorizo and bean. You know, and they're like a perfect little tiny little slice of heaven because they just warm. They make you feel good with a little bit of coffee. You know, just 2 tacos. I have that real quick story. I was in downtown San Antonio, one of my favorite places, having breakfast. And I was sitting there. This was early in the morning. It was before work. I was going to go into my office. I was just sitting there, not many people in there. And in come 2 really nice people that clearly were not from San Antonio. They were just tourists. They were just looking around. Like, they came in, they sat down, and they were a couple of tables from me, and they ordered, they said, do you have oatmeal or pancakes? We like eggs and pancakes. And I was just like, man, they don't realize they're in one of the best places for breakfast tacos. They don't get it. They don't know. So when the waitress came to me, I said, hey, don't tell them. But I said, just send them a couple of tacos, like few tacos, and then put it on my bill. Just don't tell them who it's from, and then see how they react. And they were just like kind of surprised. And of course I was just looking, and she went along with it. She got them the tacos. She didn't tell them where it was from. They ate them, and you could just see it in their face. They were just like, oh man, these are good. And I was just like, yeah, mind blown. And then they went back to Idaho and they opened a taco stand.
True story.
And now they're millionaires.
Because that's how we do in Idaho.
Yeah.
All right. And Eric, I'll ask you the same last question that I ask everybody else. And that is, what do you love most about working in the resolution industry?
Getting a case settled. I don't know how it's a simple, straightforward answer, but just to see that, you know, as someone who's litigated cases for years and years, you see all of the emotional and financial drain that it takes on people. Some more than others, but it's always some type of a toll on people in some way or the other. To see that this is now ended, and you played a part in helping to facilitate its ending. No more attorney's fees, no more court case, no more trial. It's been resolved. And you see the relief in people's face. That is a really nice thing for someone who spends all of their day fighting with people, to see people just kind of mend their ways a little bit. You know, just kind of have that, you know, becoming whole again. And when you see it in someone's face, it's really nice because, you know, someone who handles litigation, it's sort of a long time period. Usually it could be a year, it could be 2 years, even longer. But in one small time frame of a couple of hours, you see them from fighting to resolving it in a real short period of time, and it's done. I mean, that's amazing. That's really a nice, fulfilling thing. And I think people that are drawn to mediation, and especially mediation, are the kind of people that really were the kind of kids that would see a fight in the schoolyard. It would be the kind of kid that would be, hey, break it up, break it up. That kind of kid were the ones that grew up to become mediators.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you grew up to participate in our industry. We're better off for having you. And if someone is interested in finding out more about you or your practice, what's the best way for them to do that?
Oh, well, I have, you know, a website, and it's SA, like San Antonio, businessattorney.com, sabusinessattorney.com. Or you can just type in my name. I spell it in an unusual way. It's spelled A-R-I-C, Garza. And then you type that into Google, and you can find me. Or if you want to, look up the Blues Lawyer.
All right, Blues Lawyer, thank you so much for your time. It's always fun talking to you.
I always enjoy our conversations. Thank you.
All right. Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution. I really appreciate that you're joining me for another in the series of idle chats for the American Bar Association's Section for Dispute Resolution. And today I get to talk to a guest in the region I was born and raised in, the Rocky Mountains, USA. Hi, Teresa, how are you?
Hi, Natalie, I'm great. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing really well. You are my first guest back from my trip abroad for the holidays, and I'm really excited to get to talk to you. And as we chatted about earlier, I'm going to give the cards a shuffle, and we're off to the races, okay?
All right, let's see what those cards say.
All right. I know there's a lot of stress and pressure as I shuffle through these cards.
Did I prepare enough?
Did you do the homework that I sent you?
Did I study?
Right. All right, Miss Teresa. First question, what is the best city?
The best city? I am going to go with Berlin.
Berlin, Germany.
Berlin, Germany. I think it is my favorite city for sure. I think that it has so much history, so much culture, so much awareness and intention. I think it's the best city, and I think everyone should visit it whenever they can.
It's funny that you say that. I got my degree in international ADR at Humboldt University in Berlin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Very
I will
cool.
not disagree with your choice.
All right.
All right, Miss Teresa. It's the middle of the night, we're going to be imagining, and you hear something crash. Are you the kind of person who gets up to investigate, or do you wake up your mate and send them off to possibly their doom?
Oh, I'm definitely up and investigating. Yeah, I just do it. I don't even think about it. And then later I'm like, should I have done that? But yes. Something happened the other day and I heard something. It sounded like, I didn't know what it was, but a really loud noise outside. I don't know if it was a car backfiring or gunshots or what. And I just immediately ran out into the street to see what was happening.
We're going to need to talk about your impulse control a little bit after this conversation, my friend. All right. Next card. Do you remember the first concert you attended?
I do. It was no doubt Tragic Kingdom.
Oh, makes my little heart go pit-a-pat, pit-a-pat.
I know. It was it was the best first concert. I had my super wide leg jeans. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly right. All right. Teresa, when was the last time you stayed up all night?
Oh my goodness. Probably a very long time ago. It was when my friend Lauren was getting married, and our college girlfriends and we kind of took her out a night on the town in New York City, and we ended up going out, but we didn't stay out all night, but we did in the apartment stay up all night listening to music and dancing to the sunrise.
How fun. Excellent story. Teresa, do you happen to have a favorite word or words?
You know what? I think that to stay on this theme, my favorite word is a German word. It's the German word for surprise, Überraschung.
This is a word I'm not familiar with. Say it again.
Überraschung.
Überraschung. Surprise. Well, in French, it's surprise. Big surprise.
Okay.
Teresa, are you a sports fan?
I love sports. I don't follow any sports, any professional sports, but I do really like to play sports, and I like to watch sports live, particularly baseball or softball and tennis.
And you like to play those and watch those?
Yes.
All right, good for you. That's hard on your knees, my friend. Good for you. Oof. All right. Teresa, if you owned a restaurant, what kind of food would you be serving us?
That is a good question. I think that my restaurant would have only two categories of food. One would be varieties on turkey sandwiches, and the other one would be ice cream.
Really appreciate the way your mind works.
Okay.
Teresa, is there any movie that you can just watch over and over and over again without ever getting tired of seeing it?
There are so many of those. So many of those movies. I'm drawing a blank on even being able to list them. The movie Ever After is one. There was a period of time that was really hard for me, and my comfort was certain movies, and I would watch those same movies over and over. And so those movies have just become comfort to me. One of them is American Pie 2.
Okay.
So there's a wide range of movies. It's not that they're the best movies in the world. They're just like easy comfort movies.
That's fair. They're coming out at a time when you're having a difficult time and you curl up and turn on the TV and find your happy place.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, because it was just the holidays, the movie The Holiday is another one.
Nice choice. Nice choice. All right, the next card reads, if you could have an all expenses paid trip to see any world monument, where would you go?
I would go to the pyramids. I would love to see the pyramids and it would be great to have like a really tailored tour with an archaeologist. Yeah.
Oh yeah, go on one of the educational tours.
Yes, exactly. Like one of those private tours where they tell you all the interesting things.
Right, sure. Anytime my husband and I travel and we take a tour, I'm always that person in the group who's just annoying the tour guide with, why did they do that? How does that happen? How come that color? Well, who built it? Well, who paid for it? How do you maintain such a thing?
Yeah.
Why did they put it there? Why would you put something like that next to a swamp? Why wouldn't you put it over there? I'm that person. My husband's always giving me the elbow. Shh.
I would love you to be on my tour because I want to know those answers too.
Right. A girlfriend and I, she and I are both that way. And when we were in Italy, we hired an art and architectural historian to tour all of Italy with us. So there were lots of days when we didn't do anything at all. We didn't see anything. We just sat in the sun and, drank wine and took a nap. But on the days that we were touring things, we had this woman with us and she knew all of those things. And it was so much fun because when you pass a building, she could say, now you see that coat of arms at the top and there's 5 balls there. That was this Medici branch prior to when she poisoned her husband because he had an affair with the housemaid. And now you see this thing over here, there's a pineapple on a steak. And that's because, when they would travel abroad in the Caribbean, the tradition was to put a pineapple outside your gate to tell people that you were home and you were receiving visitors. And they brought that back to Europe. And so you see lots of pineapples on gate stands here. She knew all these little things, all these little fascinating stories, not the dates or the wars, but all the people bits, the soap opera of the thing. And it was so much fun. I would drop that dime any time in the future because that made the trip, just so much fun, so much more interesting than just walking around and looking at pretty things. So.
Well, and you've maintained that knowledge, like that stayed with you.
Oh yeah, the really important things, like my husband's social security number, no room for that kind of nonsense. The coat of arms for the various Medici branches, got it.
Yeah, we know when to put the pineapple out.
Well, yeah, this is imperative.
This, I'm going to just turn off my video real quick so I can close the shade.
Sure,
but I'm still here.
That's fine.
Okay, sorry about that. The sun does just come in.
That
in the morning.
happens.
Okay.
All right, Teresa, what can you think of that might be fine in small numbers, but horrifying in large numbers?
Oh my gosh. Swimming laps.
Yes, I can see how that would be true. Not where my mind went, but really good answer. Swimming
I don't know
laps.
why my mind is going to these places. I'm still kind of waking up. So maybe these are like still like weird dream concepts.
Right, maybe it's the uncaffeinated thoughts that are the more pure.
Sure. Yes.
The more, it's the more id.
Yeah.
All right. Teresa, what do you know now that you wish you had known 20 years ago?
Ooh, never skip a dentist cleaning.
Good advice, that. Very good advice. Children,
It
if you're watching
truly
this
is.
video, floss.
Definitely floss, never skip. It's all that, even if you don't have insurance, it is still worth the $120 to get your teeth cleaned every 6 months. That is truly the one regret I have in my life. Because, you have to deal with the repercussions of that the rest of your life.
Yes, that's one of those things you can't undo once it's been
No.
did.
You can't like have a mediation between you and your teeth to repair the harm.
Although I do talk sweet to them, it's not exactly the same thing.
It's not.
Not exactly the same. All right. Teresa, what is the worst thing that you've ever eaten out of politeness?
Ooh, it's not that this thing was bad, but red meat, I have eaten so little of it in my life that it can make me really sick. And sometimes I've eaten, if I'm someone's house for dinner and they didn't know, I'm gonna still eat what they put in front of me. So sometimes I've eaten some red meat out of politeness, and it was delicious, but it was bad for my system.
That's all right. Just not for you.
Just not for me. Yeah.
Not for you. All right. Teresa, can you think of anything that may have been cool when you were young, but is decidedly not at all cool now?
Oh my gosh. That's so hard because I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, and so many of those fashions are back now. So I would have said things like acid wash jeans and mom jeans. I definitely would have said mom jeans, but apparently now I don't have mom jeans, and therefore that makes me not cool. So,
not cool.
I don't know. The new kids on the block, I don't know. They had to come back too.
They did. I was thinking maybe MC Hammer and those huge parachute pants.
Yeah.
I don't know if those are coming. I see. I'm not cool enough to know. That's the challenge.
I don't know. Let's not give anyone any ideas on the parachute pants, though. Yeah.
We'll keep that just between you and I.
Right.
Oh, now this is a question that may be divisive.
Okay.
We'll warn viewers in advance. This could be a trigger kind of a conversation. When you're flying in the middle seat, which armrest or both belongs to the middle seat passenger?
The middle seat passenger gets both armrests. They do not get to go over the armrests. So they don't get to just like put their arm and have it on either side of the armrests, but they do get the space from both armrests in.
You said that with great authority.
Oh, yes. I feel very strongly about flying etiquette.
I will agree. I just got off a handful of airplanes and had on one of the little short hops, the woman in front of me had quite long hair, and she undid her ponytail, pulled it up and flipped it over the seat so that it was on my tray table. And when I tapped her on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me," she was really rather irritated that I had the crust to ask her to remove her nasty locks from my tray table.
Nasty locks.
Just saying.
It's
We were
not
about-
okay. You
It's not
don't want,
okay.
you don't want her hair dripping in your, you know, peanuts, or I guess they don't do peanuts anymore, but pretzels, or, you know,
Right.
water,
Yeah.
because they don't serve you anything beyond that anymore either.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I gave her my best mom look that said,
Good.
you don't want to hear the mom voice,
Mm.
move your hairs. And she did, but she grumbled about it for the next hour and complained to her husband about the nasty woman behind, and, you know, on and on it went. It was much more dramatic than it needed to be, but yeah. So I agree. The person in the middle gets both armrests, because the person who has the window can lean against the wall, and the person who has the aisle, when there's no buggy in the aisle, they can stretch out their legs, they can, you know, lean over, they have all that airspace to occupy. And the person in the middle, definitely both armrests. I'm with you, sister.
Great. I've
All
had
right.
someone once undo their hair and flip it back, and it's been so long it hit me in the face.
Just, ooh,
Not okay.
no.
Not okay.
Taking off your shoes, please don't.
No.
Please don't.
No.
Yeah. Don't bring your
I
tuna fish
understand.
sandwich on the airplane.
I understand if you need to loosen your shoes because of the pressure and everything. Absolutely. Loosen those laces. You need to.
I can do that. Now, I've been on really long international flights where I did remove my shoes and put slippers on
Oh.
to be more comfortable during a flight. But yeah, I just can't imagine, one, that the floor is really clean and you want your stocking feet on that floor. And two, just for the rest of us, no. All right. Teresa, what is one of your favorite books?
Oh my goodness. One of my favorite books is The Handmaid's Tale. I've read it, I think, 4 times. The first time I read it was in high school. And I was really into very serious books in high school. I thought I was really important reading serious books, but I do love that book. I think I get something different out of it every time I read it. Something about the story, or the way it relates to my life, or what it relates to happening in society is different, or I notice something different about it. So for me, it stays very much alive. I haven't reread it though since the TV show has come out though. And then my other favorite books are the books in the Outlander series as well.
Those are books I have yet to read. Now,
Ooh.
have you read the complementary book to A Handmaid's Tale?
I have not. Is it Testaments?
I think that's right.
I think that I started it maybe a year ago into COVID, and the angstiness of it, and maybe the angstiness of the world. I'm like, nope, I have to go back to really light books.
You know, The Princess Bride. That was my sort of reading level during COVID.
Yes, I have never read that. I bet it's really enjoyable.
It's one of my all-time favorite books. It's just one of those books that you can read on a Saturday in its entirety, really enjoy it, get a good laugh. It's, you know, I guess the television equivalent of like The Big Bang Theory.
Perfect.
You know, it's just a nice, funny read. It's a good way to go to sleep, like a cat video on YouTube. You know,
Yes.
one of those kinds of books. And yeah, you know, I've always thought that happiness is like a diet of the mind. You know, like you're very careful about your physical diet. And I think that happiness is the same thing. You choose the artwork that you have on your wall. I always choose happy faces. I always choose something that's positive. Happy colors. I choose happy people to be my friends. I choose happiness. I choose happy music. I choose happy books, happy films. I choose happiness. And, you know, when exterior pressures start to push their negativity on you, I think you really have to be diligent about maintaining, you know, the cat videos in your life.
Yeah, finding that balance, and you're really choosing what are the things that make you happy.
Yeah, it's one of our, it's an easier defense mechanism, I think, than most people think it might be, but it's one of the more powerful things that we have as humans, is the ability to choose happiness.
Yeah.
And you do have to make the choice. So, Miss Teresa, well, I think that you're important regardless of your reading material. And I thank you so much for joining me. I'd like to end our idle chat by asking you the same question that I asked all my guests. And that is, what do you love most about the resolution industry?
Oh, goodness. I think the thing that I love most about the resolution industry is that the work that we do truly, for me at least, is aimed at improving relationships. And when you talk about choosing happiness, for me, my relationships in my life, that's what makes me happy. And so when we are working on addressing conflict, working on our communication with each other, understanding and listening, all of that is aimed, at least from my perspective, at improving and growing relationships. And so I think that for me, that's the best thing in life. And so that's, I think, the best thing about working in this industry.
What a lovely answer from a really lovely person. Teresa, thank you so much for joining me on an idle chat today.
Natalie, thanks for having me. And, you know, I suspect we would be very good travel buddies with the way we think about plane rides, as well as what we want out of our tours and experiencing new cultures and places.
Well, anytime you find yourself on the European continent, you let me know, and we'll share a tour guide and go learn some good stuff.
Sounds great.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin, and I am doing a series of video interviews with colleagues in the resolution industry called Idle Chat. And today my guest is Sylvia Mayer. Hi, Sylvia, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Natalie?
Doing very well. Thanks for joining me for an Idle Chat.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Now, I know, Sylvia, that you've seen a couple of the other Idle Chat videos in the series, and you know how the game works. So there's about 120 questions here on the cards. We give them a shuffle and find out what it is you and I will be talking about today. All right, there we go. So, Miss Sylvia, the first card reads, ooh, this one's really good. What kind of nap is the best kind of nap?
Oh, a weekend nap.
Nap. Any particular time of day better than another?
Oh, you know, if you can curl up in the afternoon with a book on the couch and just take a quick doze. I'm not a big napper, but on a rainy day, that sounds perfect.
Doesn't it? It does. All right, next question. What is your favorite thing to cook or bake?
Anything with chocolate.
Because,
I'm all about chocolate.
because it can't be beat.
Right, right. You can't go, I never go a day without chocolate. I have to have chocolate every day.
See, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Chocolate, it's one of the 4 major food groups.
100%.
Fair enough. Now, do your kids live by that rule also?
You know, it's very interesting. All my kids like chocolate, but none of them are quite the chocoholic that I am. Exactly. It means more chocolate for me.
Right. All right. Sylvia, do you have a good luck charm?
Oh, what a great question. No, I do not have a good luck charm. I would say that periodically I find something that feels lucky and I'll hang on to it for a little while, but I guess I misplace them with great regularity, so they must not be too lucky because they get lost.
Not that lucky. Well, that leads me into my next question. What is the most interesting thing you've ever found?
Oh, that's a great, probably the thing that had the most impact on my life that I ever found was a dog. And back between college and law school, I was a starving artist. My undergraduate degree is in theater. And I was working for a small theater company, and I came out of work one night we were on the edge of downtown, and I came out of work one night during rush hour traffic and walked out the door, and there was this teeny tiny little dog walking across the street in the middle of the traffic. And I ran out in the traffic, which tells you how young I was because I had no appreciation for my own mortality. And I ran out and I stopped the traffic and I scooped up this tiny dog. And I named him, I found him on a street called Bagby. So we named him Bagby. And he was about 6 weeks old and had every kind of worms you can have and 2 different kind of skin infections. And he was malnourished, and the vet thinks he was the runt of the litter, and he got expelled from the litter. So he had an infected dog bite. And but he ended up being an amazing dog.
That is a really good find. And you're a really good human for bringing him out of the traffic and to a vet. Good for you, Sylvia. All right. Now, this next question, I will warn you in advance. It does create some divisiveness. So you don't have to answer if you're not inclined. Does pineapple have any business whatsoever being on pizza?
Ooh, that is a tough one. So I have one kid who loves pineapple on pizza. I, however, only eat the toppings on pizza. I don't eat the crust. And so if all you're going to eat is the cheese and whatever's on top of that, pineapple and cheese are a great combination. So it's not that controversial to me.
And your other kids?
No way. Not having pineapple anywhere near their pizza.
Not cool. Not cool. Fair enough. It's one of those things. There's never anybody who says, it's always yes or no.
Right.
Pineapple on pizza. All right. Sylvia, who is your favorite cartoon or comic book character?
Ooh. Well, I don't know. I've been going through a superhero phase. So we'll have to go with one of the superheroes. So off the cuff, I'll say, we'll say Spider-Man.
Good choice.
But there's a lot of great choices.
Yeah. Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Yes.
Yeah.
Black Panther.
See? Good. Yeah. That's a really good choice. There's a lot of really good ones. A lot of really good ones. It was most recently National Pepper Potts Appreciation Day. And it happened to fall on a snow day. And so we sat as a family having a carpet picnic, and we did an Iron Man marathon.
Oh, I love it. I love Iron Man.
Right?
And
can't go wrong with Iron Man.
No.
All right. And you just answered that one. Sylvia, Miracle Whip or mayonnaise?
Neither one.
Neither one?
Neither one.
Not never?
Never, ever. Yuck. Not for me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Sylvia, on what topic could you speak hour after hour after hour?
Ooh. That's a really good question. I don't know that I have an answer to that question. I love to read. I could probably go on and on about loving to read, the advantages of reading, books I've read, books I want to read, ways to read, where to read, all those things. That'd probably be the topic.
Which stack is larger, the books you've read or the books you have purchased and are waiting to read?
All right, well, so I'll be honest. I'm looking at my TBR stack. That's my to be read stack, and it fills 3 bookshelves, and I've already started stacking on the floor. But I have an entire closet that I put the books I've already read in, and I clean them out periodically and sell them or donate them or give them to friends. So probably the books I've read is bigger, but the one that stares me in the face all day, every day, because it's on the other side of my desk, is the to be read stack. And it's there because it's supposed to encourage me not to buy more books. But it hasn't worked out that way.
My husband tried in earnest to put a moratorium on no more books in the house. You have to get rid of some books before you can bring more in. It just didn't work out well for him. I just, you pick a different vice, dude.
That's exactly right.
That one's not ever going to go in your favor. I could bankrupt us in a Barnes and Noble. Yeah, absolutely. Sylvia, what is the spiciest food you've ever eaten?
Probably 100 years ago, I lived in London. And I remember going to an Indian restaurant there and thinking I was going to die. I don't remember what the dish was, but I just remember thinking I was going to die. It was so spicy.
I've had that experience. You know, you look pretty good for 100 years. Not bad. All right, Miss Sylvia, cake or pie?
Well, that depends. Does the cake have chocolate?
It's your cake. It can have anything.
If it's my cake and it has a chocolate fudge icing, I am all about the icing. So I am there. If the cake does not involve any kind of chocolate icing filling kind of thing, and it's just cakey cake, but I don't like cake. I only like the icing and the filling part. Then I'm all about what's inside the pie. So is it an apple pie or is it a chocolate pie? Because I don't really like the crust either. I just eat the insides of the pie. It's very strange.
Well, it's your pie. You can have it any way you want. But if there's chocolate involved, you default to the chocolate.
It's wherever the chocolate is.
All right. That's okay. It's your dessert. Do you have a question for me?
What is your choice, cake or pie?
Oh, cake every day, all day.
Chocolate or not chocolate?
Sure. D, all of the above. Cake.
Any cake. Okay.
Cake, glass of milk and a cake. Yes. For breakfast, you bet. Dessert, sure. Tea time, yes, ma'am. Cake.
All right. Well, so you mentioned that you too have a problem with reading.
I do, yes.
Yes. So can you share anything about what you're currently reading?
I am reading Austin Kleon, Steal Like an Artist journal. This was a gift from a client for Christmas, and I previously suggested that she read one of his books, and she gifted back another of his books. And so that's what I'm reading at the moment. I'm reading for the umpteenth time Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell and love it. And then another client of mine wrote a book that I'm embarrassed to admit it took me all of about a day to read. It was that good, called Dead Lawyers. And it's about a serial killer who goes after lawyers. And it is fascinating and gruesome and wonderful and horrific all at the same time. And that's Steve McAvoy. He wrote a book called Dead Lawyers, and it is as good as any Grisham novel. And I got so involved in it, it took me a long Saturday to read.
Wow,
Guilty
sounds like I may need to go add some more books to my TBR stack.
Guilty pleasures, guilty pleasures. All right, Miss Sylvia, I'll ask you the same question I asked everybody on the Idle Chat as a last question. And that is, what do you love most about the resolution industry and the work that we do?
Helping people. I love the satisfaction of helping people.
Just like that. All right, Sylvia, thank you so much for your time in an Idle Chat. If people want to get a hold of you to learn more about you or your practice, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can look for me on the internet at my website, which is smayerlaw.com, or find me on LinkedIn at Sylvia Mayer.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time. It was fun having an Idle Chat and getting to know you a bit better.
Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin. I appreciate that you've joined me for another in this series of Idle Chat videos for the American Bar Association's Section for Dispute Resolution. And today I get to talk to a colleague in Egypt. This is Omar. Hi, Omar.
Hi, Natalie.
Thanks very much for joining me. So Omar, you know that this is just an Idle Chat. We don't talk about anything that's really deep or sorry about that. Everybody works from home. Janie, girl, you have to get down. Good girls don't bark. Thanks, buddy. I will edit that out.
Okay.
So Omar, I've got about 120 questions here on the cards. We'll give them a shuffle and we'll figure out what we're going to talk about. And generally what we talk about is just about you. It's not cutting edge journalism, but you know, we want to learn more about you. We'll do that here with the cards. Omar, the first question is, Do you often quote movies?
Mm, no,
No, that's
no.
not your line of
I
communication.
can't save it. I can't save them.
No,
Yeah.
just not there.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. Omar, what is the oldest thing that you own?
Mm, it's a very difficult question. I think a pair of shoes.
A pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Okay. And a pair of shoes that your favorite and you just can't let them go?
Yeah, I love them. It's still in my parents' house, but I love them.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Omar, when someone asks you for a recommendation for music or a band, what do you recommend?
Actually, I'm not into music so much, but I believe I love like soft music kind. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next card. If you built a themed hotel, what would the theme be and what might the rooms look like?
Mm, I believe it will be a modern hotel. Uh, it will be painted in white. I would love to be like to have like a relaxing hotel. That would be nice for me.
So a spa kind of environment.
Yeah, that's great, of course.
Yeah, always good. I would
Yeah.
support that hotel. I would stay at your hotel. Omar, what is your least favorite household chore?
Mhm. No, I don't know.
No,
I-
you don't mind doing any of the dishes, the trash, making the bed.
of course, everyone hate towards the dishes, but I don't say it's the least thing.
It's just one in a line of many things.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that works for me too. All right. Omar, which is scarier, snakes or spiders?
Oh, snakes, of course. I love spiders. Yeah, because in Egypt, spiders are not that bad. So they do not harm us, so I don't have any issue with them.
Okay, but snakes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Let's see. Omar, if you imagine that you are moving to another country and you can only carry with you a backpack, what would you take?
Mhm. Pen and paper. I'm on mobile. I'm on my cell phone.
And that's all you need.
Yes.
I might carry a toothbrush,
Of
my cell
course.
phone.
Yeah, I believe I could buy anything from the other country. So, but all my data is on my cell phone. That's why I have to have it, and
Right.
pen and paper because I would love to write something if I remember something or something. I won't save it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You can go shopping almost anywhere you land. That's a
Yeah.
good point. That's a good point. All right. Omar, what is the best dessert?
Anything with chocolate. I love chocolate.
Generally, there are no wrong or right answers to idle chat, but I'm going to say you got the right answer.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see. Omar, do you eat food that is past the marked expiration date on the container?
On yogurt. One of my friends told me long time ago that yogurt are not that bad after expiration date, and I tried. It's okay.
I guess what's it going to do? Go good, right?
Yeah.
Omar, what is the coldest that you've ever been?
Uh, I used to live in Prague. I was doing my master's degree there, and it was very cold for me, especially that I'm from Egypt. So it was a strange experience for me, but I love it.
Right. And in Prague, do you get snow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of
Folks,
snow.
a lot of snow. Big
Yeah.
difference. Yeah, big difference. All right. Omar, what is the spiciest food that you've ever eaten?
What was spicy food? I think one time I tried an Indian food and it was very spicy. So I think that was it.
Yeah, you have to be a little bit careful with some of those curries.
Yeah.
Omar, is there a topic that you could spend hours and hours and hours talking about?
It's according to my mood. If I'm motivated, I think I could talk about work for hours. If I'm not, I will not do that.
Fair enough. And that leads me into my last question, the same question I ask all of my guests, and that is, what do you love most about the resolution industry?
I believe it's very good to help people find solution for the problem.
It is. You are right, my friend. All right, Omar, thank you so much for joining me for an idle chat. Enjoy Egypt and take care, my friend.
Thank you, and thanks for having me. Thank you, Natalie.
It's my pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and I appreciate that you've joined me for another in the series of Idle Chat videos for the American Bar Association's Section for Dispute Resolution. And today I get to talk to a student at Pepperdine University, but originally from India. Hello, Akila, how are you?
Thanks, Natalie. Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm so glad you could join me for an idle chat.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So Akila, I know that you've watched some of the other videos, so I know that you understand we're just going to shuffle these cards and let them dictate what it is that you and I talk about.
Sure.
How are your studies going at the Strauss Institute there in Malibu?
They're great. They're amazing, in fact.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying my master's.
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic place to study. Good for
Yes.
you. All right, Miss Akila, the first card reads, what was the last photograph that you took?
I think of my nephew, a screenshot of my nephew. We were video chatting and he was kind of calling me aunt in my language, and I was so happy and I took a screenshot of it.
Oh, very cute. And how do you say aunt in your language?
We call Atta.
Ata. Okay.
Yes.
Very nice. Always good to learn another word. All right. Akila, what always cheers you up?
Being with my family, always, definitely. I would, no matter what, no matter in happy situation or sad situation, being with my family is something that puts a smile on my face, always.
Family always makes things better. Yep.
Yeah.
Good answer. Akila, what is the most beautiful beach?
The one I've been is, I don't know. I've been to most of the beaches. I think Carlton at London is really beautiful. That's one of the first foreign beach that I have visited, apart from India beaches. So that was really beautiful.
It is very pretty, I agree. Zuma
Yeah.
is not too bad either, though.
Yeah, that would come third or fourth for me, but yeah, Carlton was good.
Carlton, it is.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Akila, how many hours per day do you spend online?
I used to spend for around 10 hours a day. Okay, if you consider even studying, that is online. But if it's like social networking, around 5 to 6 hours I used to spend. but I tried to put that recent update in iPhone where you can restrict your usage of social networks. So I restricted to 3 hours.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot.
It is.
Wow. Yeah, it is a lot. I do envy you, though, that you get to get your master's degree having access to the internet. I think it would be so much fun to get a higher education being able to use the internet.
True.
All right. Akila, imagine that we're far ahead in the future and money is of no consequence. And you can travel from place to place in any way that you think would be the most fun or the most efficient or simply the best. What kind of transportation will we be using in the future?
That's interesting. Since I can't travel by car to the entire world, I would say flight would be a reliable option. But if there is a chance to use a car to travel entire world, then I would prefer car than flight.
Right? You're not going to go with like the Star Trek transporter or...
Okay, if you involve those, I would love to take Batmobile.
Batmobile. Best answer ever. Best answer ever. Let's see.
My second option would be a broom from Harry Potter.
Not bad at all. Not bad. Akila, what is the most recent show that you've binge watched?
Okay, from past 3 days, me and my brother and sister-in-law watching movies. We were not watching any show in particular, but just before that, I finished Fresh Off the Boat.
Okay.
I binge watched it.
All right. And that's one that I don't know. Do you recommend it?
Yes, definitely. It's fun, interesting, comedy. It's good.
All right. I'll have to look for it. Thanks very much
Yes.
for the tip. Akila, can you do the Vulcan hand greeting?
Thank you.
Nice. Gotta love a recessive gene. All right.
Yeah.
Akila, I'm going to ask you the same question that I ask all of my guests as a last question. And that is, what do you love most about working in the resolution industry?
Yes, I believe that justice delayed is justice denied a lot. So currently the courts are taking a lot time than the usual in resolving a dispute. So I would prefer going for an alternative that could help or assist court to reduce the disputes and to solve in more personal way rather than going to court and being more formal way. So that's something I like about alternative dispute resolution. For example, mediation is it connects the other party to each other rather than focusing on the dispute. So interpersonal skills and interpersonal relation is something which is given more importance. So I would prefer going that rather than someone dictating the order. So, and it's also a faster mechanism.
Yeah, access to justice is a really important component of what we do. And what kinds of cases do you hear?
I have mostly real estate and constructional disputes. I've been concentrating myself on arbitration and construction arbitration a lot. Mediation, a few cases, and currently I have a chance to do a mediation clinic back at my Strauss Institute. I'm looking forward to it because I took this semester, and I heard there'll be more of family cases and property division and ad hoc cases. So I'm interested. I'm looking forward to them.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm glad to have you as a member of our industry. Akila, thank you so much for joining me for an idle chat. It was a great pleasure to get to know you a little bit.
Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure for me.
Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and I really appreciate that you've joined me for another idle chat in the series of conversations that we're having for the American Bar Association's section of dispute resolution. And today I get to talk to a colleague in Lagos, Nigeria. This is Walla. Walla, hello, thanks very much for joining me.
Thank you, Natalie, for this opportunity. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure. As I mentioned earlier, Nigeria is absolutely one of my favorite places to live and work. It's such a beautiful country and beautiful culture. So I'm always happy to have a Nigerian colleague join me.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Now, Walla, I know that you've seen some of the other Idle Chat videos. So you understand that we're just going to give these cards a quick shuffle. And the cards sort of dictate what it is that you and I talk about during our idle chat.
Yes.
All right, here we go. First card. Walla, do you play any instruments?
Yeah, I play the traditional African instrument, drum, sometimes.
Fascinating. Excellent. And do you play with a band or do you play alone?
No, when I was in high school, I used to play with the college choir. But now I love them. I love it, so I play it at home sometimes.
Very nice. All right.
I have a daughter who loves playing it as well.
There you go. My girl's got rhythm. I like it. I like it. Walla, what is your favorite app on your phone?
LinkedIn.
Good for you. Good for you.
Thank
Next
you.
question. What do you like most about yourself?
I like my kind of heart. I don't keep grudges. I may get angry, I get over it quickly.
That's
yes.
That's a good trait to have.
Yes, I'm determined. I love my career, so I love to explore anything. Most time, like when I'm on LinkedIn, I sign on to any webinar as far as it concerns my career, because I love my career, especially now that I'm concentrating more on mediation. I'm very ambitious when it comes to progressing in my career. I love my children too.
You know, yeah, we're kind of required to love our kids, but loving your career, that's a big bonus.
Thank you.
All right, Walla, if you meet a time traveler from the future, what kind of question do you think you'd like to ask that person?
I want to know what is in the other world where the time traveler is coming from.
So you're curious about their government system, their technology, the language, art. What are you most curious about for the future?
I'm curious about the environment, like you said, the technology, the government, what they do generally.
Yeah, I think that would be fascinating to know. Do we come through all of this nonsense we're living in now? Walla, what languages do you wish that you could speak?
I wish I could speak French. And in Nigeria, I wish I could speak Hausa language.
Hausa, that's a language that I don't speak. What languages do you speak?
I speak my language, Ishekiri, and I speak Yoruba. I speak a little bit of a language called Urobo.
Oh, I don't know that one either.
Those are local Nigerian languages, yes. But I speak my language very well, Ishekiri language, and I speak Yoruba.
Okay, can you teach me a word in your language? What word would you want to teach me?
Modokbe.
Modokbe?
Yes, Modokbe.
And what did I just say?
Thank you.
That's a good word, Modokbe.
Yes.
All right. Walla, what
Yes.
outdoor activity have you never tried, but you think you might like to?
keen.
Yeah, now you're speaking my language. All right. Walla, I'll ask you the
Yes.
same question that I ask everyone as a last question on Idle Chat, and that is, what do you love most about the resolution industry?
I love it because people settle their disputes most times amicably, and they may come into the room with grudges or conflict, but most time they leave with resolution and they are happy. They can go back and continue with their business or, human relationship together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, if someone I know that you're quite quite a hub of information, and you've taken on a very lovely sort of leadership position in the resolution industry in Nigeria. If someone is curious about the ADR industry in Nigeria specifically or generally, how can they get a hold of you? How can they reach out to you?
Okay, I have my email address and my phone, and if they need to go further, they can contact the Lagos Multi-Door Court, where I'm a neutral, I'm a mediator there. They can also contact the Nigerian Chartered Institute of Arbitration, where I'm a member. I'm a facilitator. I take negotiation to when we have trainings for our new members. They can also reach me through the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Arbitrators, where I am the Institute of Conciliators and Mediation, where I'm also a fellow. They could reach me through those places as well.
Okay, all right. And we can always find you on LinkedIn. And
yes, you can find me on LinkedIn. Very well.
All right, fantastic. Walla, my friend, how do I say it? Thank you again, Mobak?
Modokbe.
Modokbe. Walla,
Yeah,
Modokbe. All right.
Modokbe Gidigbo.
Oh my goodness.
Modokbe Gidigbo means thank you very much.
Modokbe Gidibo?
Yes.
No, that wasn't correct. Did I say it correctly? Modokbe?
You did. You done well. Modokbe, that's thank you. And when you want to say thank you very much, you say Modokbe Gidigbo.
Modokbe Gidibo. Walla Modokbe Gidibo.
Yeah. Oh, Natalie Modokbe.
All right. Thank you, my friend. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for this opportunity. You're doing a very good job. Keep it up.
Thank you. Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and I appreciate that you've joined me for another in the series of Idle Chats for the American Bar Association's Section for Dispute Resolution. And today I get to talk to not just an amazing colleague in our resolution industry, but also a dear friend of mine, Kimberly Best in Tennessee. Hi, Kim, how are you?
I'm good, Natalie. I'd actually love to spend the next 10 minutes doing a shout out to how working with you and your help has just absolutely changed my life. So I just want to say Natalie is incredible. And yeah, I appreciate you and all you do. And I'm super happy to be here with you again.
Well, thanks very much. I'm flattered. But Idle Chat is all about you and not really very much at all. It is exactly what the name implies. It is just an idle chat. So Kim, I've got about 140 questions now on these cards, and we just shuffle them up.
I know how my luck goes. I am scared.
Right? All the top scientists in my private laboratory have worked on this for years and years to get this recipe right. So we'll shuffle
Natalie,
it up.
there's a game called Would You Rather. Have you seen that game?
I'm familiar, yes.
Yeah, those would be pretty funny questions too. It's like, would you rather eat a bucket of worms or, not eat for 4 days? I mean, they're really pretty funny questions. That reminds me of that as I'm watching you shuffle.
And what is your answer to that question?
I use the term "I'd rather eat a bucket of worms" pretty often when I'm faced with something that, hey, do you want to, at least in my own head. So no, I don't want to eat a bucket of worms.
Can I be really picky about the worms? If I can be picky about the precise worm that's in the bucket, then I'm all in for the bucket of worms.
I'm guessing there's some fancy French worms that would be delicious.
No, but when we were in Asia, we really got we were served sugar grubs, and they were very good. I would eat a bucket of sugar grubs, or I would eat a bucket of crickets any day. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh! Do they wiggle? Do the sugar grubs wiggle?
No.
Okay.
No, they kind of pop in your mouth a little bit. But I like chocolate covered ants. I like butterfly chrysalis, and there's a lot of insects that I think are scorpion on garlic toast is really good.
So I'm thinking that any word that ends in "ugh," I would not eat.
All right. So let's start with our questions for you then. What is your favorite thing to bake or cook?
Favorite thing to bake or cook? Okay. Well, I'm not good at favorites, and I guess I don't know if that makes me wishy-washy or not. I'm just not good at favorites, but I will say I make a mean cheesecake. I don't do it very often, but I do. It's a recipe that's been handed down from my grandmother, and it's unshareable for the most part. It gets a generational sort of thing, but it's a super good cheesecake with a recipe from New York. So the kids like when I make that. One of my favorite things to cook though is David's cookies come frozen. Costco, by the way, you can buy them in the box of 60 cookies or something. And when you bake those, it's like having homemade cookies. So that is a hit with my littles. And as a matter of fact, the football game where the Bengals played the Titans, I'm in Tennessee, right? And I'm from Cincinnati. So my grandsons were in Cincinnati with their Bengals shirts on and cheering for the Bengals. And I'm here in Tennessee with my Tennessee colors, but no jersey. And I decided they're 4 and 6 that we would put a wager on this. So I ended up sending them a box of those David cookie dough things. And I get a FaceTime call from them later in the day after mom and dad have cooked them, and everybody's like singing the Bengal cheer "Hoo Day" while they're biting in their soft, squishy chocolate chip cookies. So that's probably way more information than you wanted, but
that's
they're a hit, and that's what matters when you cook. What's a hit, right?
That's the exact answer I was looking for, in fact. Exact answer. All right, next card. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Oh my goodness. I've had so much good advice, but I'll say yesterday was a reminder. Yesterday I went to the Disney Institute for Business stuff, and that would be a whole nother conversation for me. but it was said, we hold ourselves accountable to our intentions. So what they did was ask everybody to stand up, and it's like, if you are have a lot of integrity, if you don't have integrity, sit down. And nobody sat down. If you've ever worked with someone who doesn't have integrity, sit down. Everybody sat down. And the point was that we all think we have these wonderful virtues and hold ourselves to our ideals, but we hold other people to their behavior. So remembering that we can be harder critic on other people and judge all of them, by a moment, judge the whole person, yet we're a little more forgiving to ourselves for those things. I thought was a really great reminder. I think another thing really I got to say real quick in conflict, William Ury says, separate the people from the problem. So working in conflict, a lot of people are the problem. Uncle Joe is a problem because of his politics, or so-and-so is a problem. The person isn't the problem. The difference in politics is. And when we can address the problem, then we can resolve that or find a solution or ignore it or whatever, instead of making the person the problem. So maybe those for now are my two biggest.
That's a good one. Be gentle with the people, be hard on the issues.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Good one, good one. All right. Kim Best,
Hmm.
burning question. What did you have for
Uh-oh.
breakfast today?
I haven't had breakfast yet. Thank you very much. I have my coffee though. I don't eat breakfast till later in the day, but I have coffee as soon as I roll out of bed.
All right. Well, all right. Next card then. Let's see. Is there anything that you simply cannot live without?
Anything I cannot live without? You ask hard questions. I think the thing that makes me happiest is my time with my family. So, and my friends, like the connection. I couldn't live without this kind of connection, the people who inspire me and encourage me and make me laugh. I couldn't live without laughter.
That best answer ever.
Hey, thanks.
You just won the game right there. Kim Best, who's the most creative person you know?
Well, probably you.
That's a really sad commentary. You need to
Hey,
get out
I
and
just
take
want to
some
know,
more
is
pictures.
that the best answer ever? Like, if I just knocked it out of the bubble? No, that's true. I mean, you are very, very creative. I think next to that, yeah, no, I don't know that there is a next to that. My daughter is very creative, but not in an artsy sort of way. Yeah, I'm sticking with those two.
That's fine. We'll edit that last part out. Kim Best, what is the most recent show you've binge watched?
Oh, that's a good one. Billions.
What is it?
Billions. It's amazing. Billions.
I don't know it.
It's on Amazon. Showtime is the host of it. I like Shonda Rhimes, so I loved Scandal. Have you ever watched any of her stuff? It's pretty edgy, very witty, unpredictable. You know, I just don't like, if I'm going to watch TV, which is not my favorite thing to do, I want to be highly entertained. So Billions is really, really a good show.
All right.
Yeah.
Mark that one
Yeah,
down.
I think you would like it. I do.
All right. We'll have to look it up. Kim Best, what is your favorite spectator sport?
Life.
For a person with 10 kids, that's a good answer.
10 kids. Well, that's another story. There are 5 in their spouses, but that is another story since we've last talked. So keeping this on a happy note, we'll roll right past that one.
Moving along. Next card. What did you like most about the place that you grew up?
That I left it? No. I had a tough childhood, but I'm from Cincinnati and I do love Cincinnati. You know, your home is your home. And I would say the first thing I say is the food when I think of Cincinnati. Lots of good places to eat. The second would probably be the people. Every time you ask me for one, I give you 2. Did you notice that?
You're an overachiever and I've always liked about you. That's fine.
I can't help myself. Okay, next question.
Next question. Do you have a question for me?
Oh, thank you. That's a great question. Oh, I wish I'd have known that was coming. I could have really gotten very devious.
That's why we don't plan ahead.
What makes you tick, Natalie?
I really am devoted to the idea of being able to tuck myself into bed at night, knowing that somebody somewhere is better off in some way for having had an interaction with me than not.
It's beautiful. I think there's a big hunk of the world that appreciates you for that.
Well, thanks. I really try hard. I think it's our human, our social obligation to make things better, to make places better, to make it easier for the people around us or complete strangers even. I think if you've got something to give, it's your obligation to give it. And I like going to bed trying to think back, did I fulfill that today? Did I help somebody? Did I make it easier or smarter or better or funnier or did I contribute something? And I strive to tuck myself in with that thought at night.
That sounds like living with purpose.
Yes, I think that I don't think that we get a second chance. This is not a dress rehearsal. This moment with you recording this video, this is my moment. And this isn't Sears and Roebuck. There's no guarantee I get another moment. And I want this one to be the good one, the right one. I want it to count.
Every moment matters.
They do. Little ones, big ones, funny ones, sad ones. They all make it. They all make a difference. Kim, I'm going to ask you my last question, and it's the same question I ask every guest on Idle Chat, and that is, what's the best thing about the work we do in the resolution industry?
Transformation. That whatever that looks like in each space, and I think the honor of being able to share people's most difficult moments and help them transform in whatever way through that. So always the people, and then the magic that happens when we can hold a good space, and people are empowered to become a better version of themselves, whether that's in understanding or their actions. But yeah, it's remarkable work.
It is, and you work in a really unique environment most often, and that's helping people who are in really difficult places with their family issues and elder care and those kinds of situations. That's really tough work. So
that's a little piece of it. My latest one has been working with a physician's company, the conflict in a group. I mean, what we do with conflict can be applied to so many places. And I do a bit of work with the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office with the community police stuff. And then there's the elder work and the aging work. And then there's just couples in conflict. I mean, the skills for that just could go so wide.
Yeah, it is good stuff that we do. Very nice. And if somebody wanted to reach out and ask you for information or ask a question of you, what's the best way for them to find you?
So Best Conflict Solutions, or just Google my name, Kimberly Best, and you'll find me. My email's kim@bestconflictsolutions.com, if that's helpful. But I'd love to talk to anybody who wants to reach out.
All right. Thank you so much, Kim. It's always a pleasure talking to you, idly or otherwise.
You too, Natalie. Love you to pieces.
I love you too. Take care.
Bye. Aren't we sweet?
Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution. And I really appreciate that you've joined me for another in the series of Idle Chat videos for the American Bar Association's Section for Dispute Resolution. And today I get to talk to colleague and new friend, Marcy in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Marcy, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Now, I know that you have seen Idle Chat videos and you know what the lay of the land is. So we'll just give the cards a shuffle and get started, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. Marcy Dixon, first card. Somewhat divisive. I apologize that this is how we're starting off. Die Hard. Christmas movie or not a Christmas movie?
Oh, man, I remember seeing this around Christmas time. I know it's divisive, but I'm going to say not a Christmas movie. I mean, I know I haven't seen it in like 20 years, but I think Christmas movie, I think of A Christmas Story and Home Alone and like those traditional Christmas movies, not Bruce Willis running around.
No machine guns?
Not really. Doesn't do it for me.
All right. That's all right. I mean, it's your Idle Chat. It can go any way you want it to go. Marcy, what is the spiciest food you've ever consumed?
I would have to say like any type of jalapeno. I don't like spicy food and it always does me in. So I try to avoid it in any type of cuisine that I eat, but a jalapeno is by far the spiciest.
All right. All right. I think for a lot of people, that's the answer. Miss Marcy, cake or pie?
Cake. Cake.
No hesitation whatsoever. The woman says cake.
Hands down. I can give you like 10 different flavors of cake. German chocolate, birthday cake, red velvet, like all of it.
See, now I need to come to Atlanta and visit with you because I am seriously lacking in my cake education.
Please
It's
come.
evident to me now.
We can bake together. I love making cakes.
I like eating them, so we're well suited one to the other.
Yeah, I knew you were going to be friends.
See? Okay. Miss Marcy, if someone was to narrate your life story, who would the narrator be?
That's a great question. I don't know that I've ever thought about that. I would probably say, and not because we have the same voice or because we have the same characteristics, I would say Rosario Dawson, because for my entire life, people have said that we look alike. So naturally, she should be the one to narrate my story.
Obviously.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
Yeah, so when the movie gets made, clearly, Rosario Dawson plays Marcy Dixon.
Although I feel like Samuel L. Jackson would be much more entertaining, but Rosario.
Maybe when your kids are adults.
Although, have you heard, so there's that book, My Kids Are Horrible Sleepers, and Samuel L. Jackson actually did, I don't think he authored it, but there is a version of Go to Sleep, and it's called, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm familiar. Yes. And so anytime anything, goes slightly awry, it's Samuel L. Jackson's voice that I hear in my, my inner monologue cursing at the winds. Yeah, he's who I channel. Boy, you're getting a lot of food questions. Marcy, what is the best sandwich?
I like to eat, so this seems on point. We were just talking about New Orleans before we got on, so I would say my favorite sandwich is a traditional po' boy, shrimp po' boy. Any style of po' boy sandwich with the delicious traditional bread and all the fixings. I mean, I don't have them often, but I love them, so that would have to be my favorite.
Oh boy, that is a good sandwich. I will agree. I will agree with you. All right, next question. Is there a word that you just regularly misspell? You just never get it right on the first go?
I don't know. I used to, I can't remember what it is. There's a word that I use for some reason. I could just never get it right, but I can't remember what it is. But I actually committed myself to figuring it out. I literally maybe spent like 15 minutes, like, you're gonna spell this word correctly. And of course I can't recall it right now, but no, I don't have one that comes to mind.
Wow, you're doing better than I am then. I've got a handful of them.
Maybe Schadenfreude, like I can never spell that correctly.
Right? For me, it's definitely. I don't know why I can't spell that one correctly. And you'd think I could spell entrepreneur correctly since that's my métier, but no. I have to go back and reread it to verify every time. I just have self-doubt about that one. Go figure. Marcy, if you were no longer able to practice as a neutral, to be a member of the resolution industry, what other profession would you like to pursue?
I would probably get a PhD. It's one of the things I thought about doing after college a very, very long time ago. I wanted to study English literature. So I'd probably get a PhD and become a college professor, do research and write, and take sabbaticals all over the world.
Doesn't that sound lovely? All right. And then Marcy, I'll ask you the same question I ask everyone at the end, and that is, what do you love most about the resolution industry?
Gosh, so many things. It's such important and necessary work. I think that through our craft as ADR professionals, we're able to really impact people's lives, even change the trajectory of someone's life through our expertise and through our knowledge and skills. So I think this is important work that we do, and the ability to help people manage conflict, avoid conflict, and move on with their lives or move on with their businesses. It's just extraordinary. And I'm very grateful to be among so many brilliant and talented conflict resolution specialists. And it is truly an honor to work in this industry.
We are good people, aren't we?
Indeed.
We are good people. Marcy, thank you so much for joining me for an idle chat. I really appreciate you letting everybody get to know you a little bit better.
Of course, this was fun. Everything was related to food, so it's appropriate.
There we go. All right. Thanks, Marcy.
Thanks. Take care.
Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution. I really appreciate that you've joined me for another idle chat in the series of idle chats for the American Bar Association's section for dispute resolution. And today I have the privilege and the great pleasure of talking to colleague Adil Koso, who's all the way in the United States in Alabama. Hi, Adil, how are you?
Hey, Natalie, thank you for having me on today. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure to talk to you always, idly or in any other way. So Adil, you know the lay of the land. We've got all these different questions here on the cards.
Yes.
And we're just going to let the cards dictate our topics here.
All right.
Adil.
Yes.
Sir, what is your least favorite smell?
Oh, my least favorite smell probably be some sort of strong food. Can't think of this particular type of food, but probably that. Or yeah, that would be it.
That's fair. All right, Adil. If your passion were not to be involved in the law and the resolution industry, what other kind of career choice do you think you might be pursuing?
Business, building back my community, because I honestly feel the backbone to every community are the small mom and pop shops. And to create a foundation where I can even pass the knowledge that they might be missing or they don't have enough time to search for it, I'd want to pass that on. So some sort of business and also consultation. So maybe a business consultant, that's what I would be doing.
It's a good gig if you can get it.
True, especially nowadays it's tough, but when there's a will, there's a way. So I'm willing to do it.
Exactly. All right, Adil, the next card. Is there any particular word or words that you regularly misspell and have to rely on spell check to help you with?
Yes. Weltanschauungen, which is a word. It's a German word incorporated in English. When I was in undergrad in international affairs, the word means worldview. And so because it has two U's, sometimes you get to misspell that, but I think that's a powerful word, but that's a word that I would need help with. Maybe have it tattooed on my arm so I know what it is when I need to refer to it. I don't know.
I'd need help with that one too. All right, sir.
Yes.
Do you, Adil Koso, ever eat a food after the expiration date on the carton?
I'm guilty. Yogurt, they're delicious. Sometimes even those, those vitamin gummies, they'll say that the expiration date, they'll say one expiration date, but they'll still be good 10 years later. I feel like, I don't want to promote eating expired foods, but I feel like that's a way of making you buy a new item.
Right.
But that's not true for all of them. Milk is a perfect example. Even though they'll say it hasn't expired yet, it'll expire. And the smell. Okay, this answers the question. The smell of rotten milk.
That's where we draw the line.
Yes. So
Okay.
so when what's the worst smell? It's probably rotten milk.
Bad milk. Bad milk. All right. We'll
Yes.
tag that back to our very first question then. All right.
Good stuff.
Adil, what is the best sandwich?
Ooh. So in Morocco, I remember being little. This is a great story. So, and this goes into my business mindset. Kids, when I was in first grade, I would have, we had this uncle, very close family friend, we called him Uncle Chips. He had a hoagie shop, and you would have mortadella. I don't know if many people have heard of this type of meat, but it's so delicious. But you could also put like shrimp, seafood, different type of meat with fries, and it's just so, eggs, all of that. I mean, it's so good. So what I did was, because the entire sandwich was so much for me to eat at that age, I would eat only one and save one for later on. Kids would have the paper bags with pre-made food. You know, their moms would make peanut butter and jelly. So I was thinking to myself, you know what? I would like the toys they have because I didn't have them. So I decided, since they're asking me for my food, and they ended up loving those sandwiches Uncle Chips made. So Uncle Chips, if you're watching this, no, I'm giving you a shout out on this, okay? I would trade at that age, my sandwich, my half sandwich, for their toys, and I'd make out because I was stuffed and I got toys that I didn't otherwise would have, you know? So that is the most delicious sandwich ever.
And it comes with a win-win. I like it.
Yes.
I like it. Thank you, Uncle Chips. Adil, if someone were to narrate your life story, whose voice would be narrating?
That's good. That's good. Dang, I would probably want to say this, dang it, that's tough. Because I'm thinking about like the depth of the voice and what type of feeling do I want to invoke. Oh, actually, because I love the way he acts, Denzel. I think he would do a great job.
Really good choice.
Thank
Really
you.
good
Thank you.
choice. Yep, class act right there. Adil, on what game have you spent the most time playing? Or rather, at what game have you spent the most time playing?
And this would be like a board game or like a video game or just like game in life. So I would say it's a game that I create on my own. So it's, for example, if I'm going for a run, which I haven't gone for quite some time, but if I'm engaging in a run, well, what I would think in my mind is I'll set up a game scenario. The person running in front of me is the person who I have to beat. And so I'm constantly playing this game where I pick my targets and they're way ahead of me, and I'm always striving to beat them, if you will. So it's a self-created game, and that game has got me to where I'm today. So that's the game that I've been playing the longest.
Right. And do you have a name for this game?
Never give up.
That's better
Never
than the
give
name
up.
I was going to give it.
What were you going to give it?
Type A.
Okay, that's even a better title. I like that. Yeah, Type A.
All right. Ooh, Adil.
Yes.
This is a very American question.
Okay.
Ketchup or mustard?
Mayo. Mayo. But in the alternative, ketchup.
Canadian answer.
Yeah, also a European one because, you know, with fries, mayo is, yeah, you have to try it. And I know many people are going to watch this and say, oh, why would you put mayo with fries? Mix them together. It's delicious. Try them. Try it once and let me know.
I'm better at the mayo than the vinegar.
Oh, yeah. No, not vinegar.
Yeah, I'll be on team mayo before I'm on team vinegar.
Same.
Adil, are you an early bird or a night owl?
Both. I don't like sleeping. I think there's plenty of time. Early bird.
Early bird, but you're too busy playing that type A game to be an early bird.
But that game just means that you have to stay up late nights and figure out a strategy, and then you wake up early in the morning because early bird gets the worm, and you execute on that plan. So it's constantly developing, you know? You trial and error, and what works, you adopt it and you go forward with it.
That's fair. That's fair. You just can't quit playing the game.
Never.
And then Adil, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked all of my guests as the last question. And that is, what do you love most about the resolution industry?
So to some degree, everyone on planet Earth can communicate. But just because you're speaking doesn't mean you're communicating effectively and communicating to understand the other person. And the idea that I love about resolution, and especially our section, is the notion that you get to meet remarkable people that are experts in this particular area, and they provide you with insight that you might not have thought about otherwise. And that is something that the wise would want to seek out, because rather than learning from your own mistakes, you can learn from others and not make that same mistake in your own life. So I think like that is what I love the most, is being able to see solutions or strategies to solutions that you might not have had exposure to. And I'm fortunate to have remarkable people that can provide me with that insight.
That when I was a kid, my dad had a t-shirt that you should own. And it read, "No man is completely worthless. He can always serve as the bad example."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'll state this. It's tangentially connected to the idea of DR, which is dispute resolution. I was once asked, what is the most expensive meat money can buy? And I thought about various different things. They were all wrong. The most expensive meat money can buy is your tongue, because you could say something so degrading that is meaningless versus saying something so profound that people are willing to pay millions of dollars for. And I feel like that tied to the idea of dispute resolution and being able to articulate a particular point, that before articulating it, you have to understand what the person is saying and what they're trying to convey. You know, that speaks volumes. So
it does, my friend, it does. It
You know.
does. Well, Adil, thank you so much for joining me for an idle chat. It's always so much fun to talk to you.
Absolutely. You too. You as well.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and this is another in the series of idle chats for the American Bar Association's section for dispute resolution. And today I get to talk to a colleague who is originally from Uganda, went to Pepperdine University in Malibu, California, but now lives in Dallas, Texas with her family. This is Joy Atkinson. Hi, Joy.
Hi, Natalie.
Thanks
Nice.
very much. Thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, good. So Joy, you mentioned before we hit the record button that not only had you previously seen an idle chat, but probably the majority of them, you went down the rabbit hole on YouTube and got stuck in idle chats. So I know you know how this goes, but for those of the viewers who are seeing an idle chat for the first time, there's about 120 questions written out on these cards, and we give them a shuffle here, and then we will see what the cards say that Joy and I will be chatting idly about. All right. Miss Joy, what is something that was common in your childhood, but that might seem strange to today's generation?
Well, I think commonly, well, I've had different cultures. I've had the Ugandan culture. Now I'm living the American culture in my adulthood. So there's a lot of difference of how the kids were raised back in Uganda and back in our days and how the kids are raised now. I think growing up, our duty was to mostly help our parents. It was pride and excitement to be able to do something or help around with work and chores and everything for your parents to, oh, she's a good girl. So the idea of goodness and hardworking, I feel like it has changed over time. Back then we were measured by how much work you do, how much agriculture stuff, how much you're helping around home. and how much that is how society viewed you being a disciplined child. Now it's less about childhood, chores at home and helping, and it's more about something else, which is interesting. So I feel like now the children now have more autonomy and more authority over, more say over stuff. Back then, no, the parent was always right and the parent was always correct and had the last opinion. So we're more people pleasers back then.
Right. No, I think you're right. I think that's a big difference, and not just a cultural difference, but also a generational difference. Yeah, that's a big one. Joy, how many hours per day do you spend online?
Pretty much all the time. I think minus the sleeping hours and the little time I spend doing chores and taking care of family, most of the time I'm online. Frequent time, either doing some research or watching TV or social media, or in some kind of way I'll be online.
It's just the modern world, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Business and pleasure is all found online. So
yeah, it takes up a good portion of our day. Joy, you've lived lots of very different places. What is the best place to go for a walk?
I would say Uganda. I may be biased, but there's a lot of nature in Uganda. There's a lot of sightseeing. It's funny, I never appreciated it until I had to leave to come to the US, then go back. Then I appreciated it more, that there's a lot of nature, there's a lot of green, And I think one of our favorite things that I do with my husband now is walk in the park. Well, that was our first dating life, We just used to take walks in the parks and stuff, and it resonated a bit. So I feel like Uganda would be an ideal place because it's really green and it's tropical and it's neither too cold or hot a day in time. So yeah.
Nature, I think you're exactly right. That's absolutely the best place. It could be the beach, it could be the jungle, it could be the mountains, but outside. Yeah. Joy, what is your favorite way to get some exercise?
That's a good question. It's rare for me to exercise, especially now, but the best way would be probably dancing. You can do it having fun, I may not say I'm the best dancer around, but I think that's a way to exercise without you actually exercising. So it's fun and rhythmic, and you get your workout in if you get the right steps and stuff. So I feel like mentally it will not appear as exercise because you're doing something fun and you're laughing and probably you're doing it with a group. So I would say dancing.
Excellent answer, my friend. Next question. What is the best ice cream flavor?
Well, my go-to is vanilla. I watched the videos and most people kept saying chocolate. I'm like, I'm not really a chocolate person. I may, but I don't. Even sometimes when they're buying stuff, ice cream at home, I'm like, not chocolate, deliberately, not cake, not nothing. I'm not a chocolate person. But vanilla is usually my go-to. But I like interesting flavors like mango, pineapple, pistachio, mint, which is, yeah.
There's no right answer to that question. In my opinion, they're all good.
Yeah, but vanilla is usually my go-to.
All right. Let's see, Miss Joy. Is there, if you are going to build a hotel, is there a theme that you would focus on? So if you had an unlimited budget and you're being tasked with building a hotel, and it had to have a specific theme, what theme would you build?
A theme? Oh, I think adventure. Because usually people come to the hotel and they want to relax. I think I'll do the adventure theme kind, because I know, well, it's funny, but when people go to hotels, they either stay indoors or they want to take a look at the hotel. So something that is not usually at home, I would like to bring it, something different. So I'll probably do a lot of adventures, a lot of things to look forward to, or to write home about.
There you go. I like that experience.
Yeah.
Good for you. Joy, is there something that always cheers you up?
Cheers me up? I think my go-to is music. It's funny that now I think about it. Now that I think about it, it looks like it's music. Every time I think I have a song for every occasion, or every emotion, every circumstance, every feeling. My sisters used to joke that you can tell how I feel by the kind of music I'm listening to at the time. Yeah, because I tend to listen to more meaning than beat about a song. So my songs usually, my kind of music usually tell how I feel in the moment.
All right, so it's environmental, and you listen to the lyrics and the poetry more than the notes.
Yes, which sometimes my family finds boring because sometimes the beat is dull, but I'm so engrossed in the meaning of the song. I'm like, do you listen to, like, nobody cares about the lyrics, Joy. We want to dance, but I'm so much into the lyrics and the meaning of that song, the creativity the artist put in,
Yeah, the story of it, yeah.
Behind it, yeah.
That's right. Miss Joy, which do you prefer, cake or pie?
Cake.
No, there's just no room for pie. Go right for the cake.
There is, but I've recently discovered, well, pie was more American, and I realized it's too sweet. I don't have much of a sweet tooth. So if I had to do with both of them, I wouldn't really mind, unless, well, coconut cake is not too sweet. Pie is usually sweet, very, very sweet. So if I choose, then I'll go with cake.
Cake it is. All right then. Let's see. Next question, Joy, what is well, we've got a lot of food questions here. What is the spiciest food you've ever eaten?
I don't even have a spicy tongue, but spiciest food. Oh, one time I went to I think Indian restaurant, and I had chicken tikka. Yeah, I like the chicken, but the whole idea of chicken tikka, it has to have a little bit of spice. So there was no way I was going to avoid spice if I wanted chicken tikka. So I think that chicken tikka has been the spiciest food I've had, and I really had a glass of water next to me, but I enjoyed the meal.
That's one of my favorite dinners. I love a good chicken tikka masala. Good choice, ma'am. Joy, when was the last time you slept more than 9 hours?
Oh, this is the time. Yes, because I've been back for like 5 months in the US. I don't have the work authorization yet, so most times I'm full-time housewife, and I sleep and wake up to sleep again and wake up to sleep again, and do some blogging too. So when I'm tired of sleeping, I write something down, Yeah.
That's a good schedule. And Joy, I'll ask you the same thing I ask every guest as the last question, and that is, what do you love most about the resolution industry?
I think, I have a litigation background. Then I went into dispute resolution, and one common thing I realized, and I that made me make up my mind to do mediation or alternative dispute resolution was the look on the people's faces. You know, the fact that you've done something that both parties are actually happy about, or they're willing to shake hands about, that is satisfaction. And that gives me the urge to want to help and help and help, because I know at the end of the day, when they're happy, it is satisfying. So the feeling of satisfaction at the end of the mediation, whether it has been successful or not, even when it was non-successful, it is at least amicable. You agree to disagree. But if it is successful, everybody, you know, is excited. And it is such an exciting thing to feel like you've been helpful, you've been a part of a situation where people couldn't figure out stuff, and you help them figure it out, and they got their aha moment, and they come out of it happy. Everybody is a winner. So that is what gets me up every day, you know, to do this mediation thing.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling and a really, really lovely contribution that you make to the greater world. Well, Joy, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really appreciate chatting with you idly.
Thank you, Natalie. I'm glad we did this. It was exciting.
It is fun. All right, Miss Joy Atkinson, you take care.
You too.
All right. Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and this is another in the series of Idle Chat for the American Bar Association's Section 4 Dispute Resolution. And I want to introduce you to my colleague, Sasha. Hi, Sasha.
Hi.
Thanks for joining me for an Idle Chat. Sasha, all we do, we shuffle these cards, about 120 different questions on here, and the cards will dictate what you and I get to talk about. And we are off to the races, my friend. All right, Sasha, what's scarier, snakes or spiders?
Whichever one's closest to me.
Really good answer. Possibly the best answer I've ever had to that question. Sasha, what is your least favorite household chore?
There are a lot of them. I think putting away the laundry, I don't know what it is about completing that task, but I feel like if I can get it 80% of the way done with the washing, the folding, the culling into piles, that someone else ought to put it away.
Oh man, when you find that somebody else, you let me know who they are. I'll hire them too.
My 6-year-old might take you up on that.
Deal. I mean, aside from all the child labor laws, yeah. Sasha, what sound or noise do you love to hear?
I love baby laughs. I love kitties, any kind of cat. Well, unless they're angry. Same thing for the baby. It's not real good when the baby's angry either, to be honest about that. So only happy babies and happy cats. And the sound of coffee being made. Those are my 3 happy sounds.
Of coffee being made. I think, Sasha, that you have just identified my new favorite sound. The sound of coffee being made. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Well, and it depends on how you make it too, what that sound would be. I mean, if you make it in a French press, it would be the sound of the tea kettle that is going off to tell you that your water is boiled so that you can put it in the French press. If you've got a traditional coffee pot, a coffee maker, then that little like sounds that you hear when the hot water starts dripping through the basket. Or if you're at a coffee shop and you hear the espresso machine and you hear the water going through the big industrial pipes, or maybe that little swishing sound. If someone's making a latte and they're doing a good job and you don't hear that pterodactyl screeching, which is the sign of a bad latte or a bad cappuccino, but you hear that sort of like, those are happy sounds.
Those are really happy sounds. You and I kindred spirits on the coffee thing. For me, it's the mocha pot. And it's when you hear that first little spit against the lid, and you know that you have to take it off because it's done percolating. That's a good sound.
Oh, I forgot about percolators. Good catch.
Yeah, that's what I love, a mocha pot. Love my mocha pots. We have several. I don't know how many there are. Maybe 6 or 7 in this kitchen. Love the mocha pots. Now, Sasha, the next question can cause controversy. I warn you now, you might have to use your mediator skills. Toilet paper. Should the roll hang with the toilet paper to the front, or does it hang with the toilet paper to the back?
If you're in an area of the country where a mullet is appropriate hairstyle, it can hang in the back. If you prefer a beard, you should hang it in the front. And that should be your guide.
And that should be your guide. And that should be the headline of my next article. Really, really good. Let's see, Sasha. In online video conferencing, online mediations, are you dressed for work entirely, or are you only dressed for work from like waist up?
I wish to reserve my Fifth Amendment privilege.
I'll go ahead and I'll just cop to it. It's yoga pants on the bottom, slippers, and then business attire. It is the business mullet. It is, yeah. And I'm never going back. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I wonder what is going to happen to all of those brands that right before the pandemic were coming out with the feel of yoga pants, but they looked like dress pants. What's going to happen to those companies now that so many of us can just go ahead and wear our regular yoga pants or the coffee bean pajama pants? Not that I have those or I'm wearing them right now.
Well, we wouldn't know because you've refused to divulge that information. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's got to be devastating to some of those businesses. But I would suppose something like a Chico's is going gangbusters right about now. Elastic waistband, big plus for big girls. That's how we look at that.
Half jacket can zoom.
I've got a thing of lipstick right here next to the keyboard. What else do you need? Sasha, what song do you feel compelled to sing along to, even if you don't know all the words?
Knowing all the words has never stopped me. So, but I guess, with 2 young kids in the house, it's the Disney classics. And so it really, I mean, you might hear in the background, we don't talk about Bruno, no. And sometimes I like to kind of riff on those. And if I'm chasing a not quite potty trained individual around, we don't talk about poo, no. That may or may not make the edit, but it had to be said.
We're parents, we're neutrals, we do what we have to do. No apologies. No apologies. If it requires a soundtrack, I'm all for it. All for it. Sasha, you have small children in your house, so you don't always get a hot meal, but the card wants me to ask you, what food do you crave most?
Well, it is a really close 3-way tie. But I think the winner is going to be any type of spicy vegetarian Chinese. And the reason is because when I was in high school, my first job was at a Cantonese restaurant, packing carryout. And, that flavor kind of takes me back to, my youth, and also to just kind of that homey feel. Second would be tacos, because I feel like there's never a wrong day for tacos. It is Tuesday. We have taco fixins in 2 crock pots for tonight for Taco Tuesday, and it smells really good in here. So It's I'm excited about that. And then I think third would be anything mashed potatoes and all of the accoutrements that go with mashed potatoes, because Thanksgiving may be to some people about the turkey, but in my house it was always about the mashed potatoes and its accessories like the turkey.
Absolutely agree with you on every one of those choices. Everyone. And now I know where to be on Tuesday. Come to your house.
Yeah, Dayton, Ohio, come on down.
Right. It's a bit of a commute, but I'll get there. Miss Sasha, what movie quote or quotes do you use on a regular basis?
I cite Die Hard a lot more often than I should admit. And I won't repeat those because they're all not for, they'll all be edited for sound.
Yeah,
But
they're all PG-13 and up, yeah.
Right, yeah. So there's that, and I'm trying to think if there are any other there's one kind of alternative Christmas movie that I quote sometimes. It's the movie called The Ref, and there's a particular scene where Kevin Spacey is he is having an altercation with somebody, and he says, "What is this, a lying seminar?" And I feel like when I was in litigation, I would end up walking away muttering to myself, "What is this, a lying seminar?" on a regular basis.
That's an excellent movie. If you're watching this video and you have yet to see Dennis Leary in The Ref, it's a really good movie. Really good movie. All right, Miss Sasha, let's try something new and different. Let's do a little lightning round. Are you in for it?
Let's go.
All right. Ketchup or mustard?
No, mustard.
Mustard. Mayonnaise or Miracle Whip?
Mayonnaise.
Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Wheat, white, or sourdough?
Wheat.
All right. Good job, you. Good job, you. Well, thanks very much for joining us for an idle chat. If someone is, I can't end it yet. I have to ask you the last question. The last question that I always end with, I apologize. Last question is, Sasha, what do you love most about the work we do in the resolution industry?
I like being able to give people their power back. Part of litigation is surrendering your power to, to maybe your attorney, to the legal system in general, to just the span of time that it takes for a dispute to be resolved. And so giving people new options that maybe a court can't even order for them, so that they can come up with something that'll work better than what the court offered solutions are. And a lot of people, I feel like, walk away from litigation, or from mediation, even if they're not going to resolve their case. They at least can feel confident that they truly made a fully informed decision. And I like that. I like everybody, being able to look back and say, I left it all on the field and I made the choices that were right for me.
Yeah, I agree that there's catharsis in that. I like your answer very much. And if someone is interested in connecting with you to learn more about the resolution industry or your practice in particular, what is the best way for them to do that?
I'm on LinkedIn, and it's easy to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Sasha Blaine, I'm the mediator for the Ohio 12th District Court of Appeals and a certified appellate specialist. So I love to talk about nerdy stuff like final appealable orders and mediation at the appellate level. But that's not to say that those are the only topics that that we could talk to. We could talk about in the resolution context. There are so many topics, motivations, and trying to map out people's motivations in ADR. I think that's a really a quasi-psychological topic that comes up for a lot of mediators, and I'm always up to talk about that.
Excellent. Sasha, thank you so much for your time, and thanks so much for the fabulous answers.
Well, thank you very much. You didn't give me my grade on the lightning round, so I'm assuming that it was 100%. But
I'm going to go 110, 112.
Woohoo! Bonus points.
Yeah, absolutely. Ticked all the boxes.
Well, thank you. It's been a real pleasure, Miss Natalie.
Thanks. Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and this is another in the series of idle chats for the American Bar Association's section for dispute resolution. And today I get to talk to a colleague in Essex, Gregory Hunt. Gregory, hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Doing very well, thanks. Just across the English Channel from me, so earlier we were talking about all the things we have in common. We'll see if we can go through the cards and find anything else that we have in common, all right?
I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. I promise, no mediators will be harmed in the filming of this video. All right. First question, Gregory, what is your least favorite smell?
Well, it's got to link in with my least favorite taste because smell and taste are so linked. So I would say sprouts or Brussels sprouts. Yeah. Oh, disgusting. Yeah.
Can't have the Brussels sprouts. All right. Good answer. Gregory, I know it's still a bit early, but what was the best thing that happened to you today?
When I got out of bed, thinking, oh, I've got this meeting this morning, I was a bit absent-minded and I forgot to make my wife a cup of coffee. So she made me a cup of coffee and she made it in my TARDIS cup and it's very nice. So I'm enjoying that. That's so far, that's the best thing that's happened.
That's a really good thing. You have a lovely wife.
I do, yeah.
All right, Gregory, on what topic can you spend hours and hours and hours talking?
Can there be more than one or is it just one?
This is your idle chat. It can be anything you want it to be.
I would say I wouldn't have a job if I didn't say mediation and ADR. Liverpool Football Club. Doctor Who, hence the TARDIS. And tomatoes. I grow tomatoes as well.
That last one surprised me a little bit. The others fall right in line.
I look like a tomato in the summer, so.
Best answer ever. All right. Now, this next question, Gregory, I will warn you in advance. It is a bit divisive. If you don't want to answer, that's fine. We can pass. In your opinion, sir, which way should the toilet roll hang? To the front or to the back?
Well, just to make things even more awkward, we tend to have ours standing up. So I haven't really got an answer because we have them standing up.
Different equipment, different.
If I have to give an answer, pull it down. So to the front.
Okay, that makes good sense. Good sense. Which equipment is better then? The traditional American French horizontal bar or the British vertical bar?
I think most places you go, even in England, it's horizontal. So that's what I'm used to. Yeah.
Okay.
But at home we have them standing up, vertical.
You know.
Don't know why.
Whatever floats your boat, my friend. All right, next card. Gregory, what is the worst job you've ever had?
Oh, I can't give a straight answer to that one because it's a small industry. So I will say when I was a student, just after I graduated, I was working as a temp in a yeast factory. And my job was stacking boxes of yeast, just moving them. But it was like that typical sort of thing where you're in a chain. So you move the box about a yard and then someone else picks it up. And it was just doing that all day. That was probably the most boring thing I've ever done.
Yeah, I can understand.
I did used to work in a chicken barbecue, a market at a weekend. And sometimes the chickens would surprisingly still have the heads on or the feet on, or they'd be in a state that you didn't want to sort of look at. So that was quite nasty at times. Mm.
Glad that wasn't one of my jobs. Yes. Bleh. Gregory, what is the most amazing physical feat you've ever managed?
I can't think of any, unless you can include alongside my wife raising 3 children. Is that a physical feat? Does that count?
I think that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that counts. The conclusion to the story, everybody lived, that counts.
Yeah.
All right. Gregory, what sport could you play longest in a televised game without anyone discovering that you're not a professional athlete?
Oh, I reckon cricket. Because if my team was fielding first, I could just stand in the field, maybe for 5 or 6 hours without even having to touch the ball. So nobody would know.
Excellent disguise. Really, really, really good answer. All right. Sir, if magic were real, what kind of spell would you want to learn first?
A good health and happiness spell.
And upon whom would you cast such a spell?
Probably everyone. And then everyone, oops, I've lost you. Everybody would then be happy and in good health, and there'd be no problems, would there? Because everyone's got it.
That's a lovely idea. Nice sentiment. Gregory, if you owned a restaurant, what kind of food would it serve?
Curry.
Not tomatoes?
Oh, there'd be tomatoes in the curry. Yeah.
All right.
A Rogan Josh. But it'd be spicy, very spicy as well.
All right. Now, I like a good curry. I would eat there. Gregory, when was the last time you stayed up all night?
Well, as this is going out to an American audience largely, my wife and I did discuss staying up to watch the Super Bowl the other night, but neither of us have got any knowledge about it at all and decided, no, let's go to bed. So it wasn't that. So it was probably about 5 or 6 weeks ago when I was watching the Ashes, which is England v Australia in the cricket, and it's in Australia, so it was during our night time. So I stayed up till probably 4 or 5 o'clock at one point. I did nod a couple of times, but I was trying to stay up, and England lost and got battered, and it was really depressing, but I gave it a go. But before that, it was probably years ago when we had the children.
Well, you know, as we all have experienced, but the Ashes, now that's a good reason to stay up all night. That's a good one. Gregory, do you happen to remember the first concert you attended?
I do, actually, yeah. It was at the Liverpool Royal Court Theatre, and it was to see a band called Transvision Vamp in about the late 1980s, mid to late 1980s.
Not familiar with that group at all.
I looked them up. You'll probably recognize a couple of tunes.
All right, I'll do that. Gregory, how many hours per day do you spend online?
Oh, too many. 10. Oh, so no, not all online, sorry. No, that's on my computer, I'm thinking. Probably up to 4. If I'm mediating and it's online, then it'll be all day. If I've got Zooms and meetings and stuff, it's obviously less than that, but I'd say on average about 4.
All right, so I would say that's quite good comparatively.
Yeah.
Quite good. All right. It's all that tomato farming you got going on. You're outside. Gregory, what is something that was very common in your childhood that will seem strange to future generations?
Hopefully, unemployment.
That's much deeper. I was trying to think, how would I answer? And I was thinking about, no internet, fax machines, telephones that you had to spin the dial, calling the operator for assistance. There's a lot that has changed in the last generation. Well, Gregory, the last question, the same question I ask all of my guests, is what do you love most about the resolution industry and the work that we do?
I think for me, the thing I love the most is when I'm mediating and I've got two businesses who are in dispute and they really need each other to survive. So this dispute is something that could actually end both of them. And as a mediator, you help them not only to resolve the dispute that's in front of them, but actually to repair the relationship that they've got so they can continue to work together. And even from that, you see during the mediation that they start to formulate new ideas and look at different contracts and different opportunities that they were never going to do because they were going to fall out. So I think for me, that's what I love the most.
That, my friend, is an outstanding answer. I like that very much. And if someone's interested in contacting you for some assistance with either a case or as a resource in the resolution industry, what's the best way for someone to reach you?
Probably in my email. So it's Greg, Gregg, at huntadr, huntadr.com.
Fantastic. And I know also that you have what I think is an outstanding YouTube channel. And so if you're watching this on YouTube, more than likely, I would encourage you to look for Hunt ADR on the YouTubes. And Greg's got some fantastic programs there, and I hope that you enjoy those.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution. And thanks very much for joining me for another in the series of Idle Chat interviews for the American Bar Association's Section for Dispute Resolution. And today I get to talk to colleague Hershey Brown. Hi, Hershey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Natalie?
I'm doing very well. So Hershey, you know how this goes. The cards get shuffled. The cards dictate what you and I are going to talk about. So let's see what we've got here, my friend.
This is exciting.
Glad you feel that way. All right. The first card at the top of the deck. What was the last photograph you took?
Oh, that was about 2 weeks ago because I'm currently recording a video for my crowdfunding campaign. So I had to have some type of image for the page, for the link. So that was a couple weeks ago.
Cool. And what are you crowdfunding?
My new novel. So I'm going to be, I'm trying to crowdfund for money for editing and other publishing purposes. I've published a few books before, but this is my first fictional novel. So the editing is way more costly. You have to go through a developmental process and make sure the plot is correct and everything ties in. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. So that's what the crowdfunding campaign is for.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
Good for you. Hershey, who is the most creative person you know?
Okay, let's see. There are so many creatives out there that I personally know. I don't, you know what? There are so many people I don't know because there are a lot of people that's in the creative space that are entrepreneurs that I am connected with. So I don't really know. I have to say here, I have to say people that have done the social media campaigns for other people. They have to be the most creative because they have to drive traffic to that person's website. My social media person, she's phenomenal. So I love her. So that's the person I think that I'm connected to that I think is the most creative.
All right, that's a good answer. I like that one. Hershey, is there any single thing that you simply cannot exist without?
Chocolate. That was easy. Hence
Well.
the name Hershey.
I mean, come on now, that was a layup. Next card, that was too easy, too easy.
Yes.
Hershey, what does your perfect day look like?
Oh, practicing some self-care, checking in with family to make sure they're doing good. My son and my aunt, my dad's side of the family, I spoke with him yesterday. Just kind of being in a state of maybe everything just being cohesive and being zen. That would be a perfect day for me. And having some chocolate, having something very nice to eat, doing some work and getting some things accomplished, and just having a really copacetic time of day.
That's a good day. Takes a little planning that day, but I think that's right. Hershey, if you have to delete all but 3 apps from your phone, what would those 3 remaining apps be?
Those 3, one would be LinkedIn. The other one would be I would have to say Instagram, and another one would be, I have several self-care apps that I have, but the one that I have, I can't remember the name of it, but it has affirmations. So I listen to those daily as well. So those would be the 3 that I would keep.
Right, good life-work balance there. Let's see, the next card, do you have a green thumb?
No.
No.
No. The thing is, I love animals, I love plants because I'm very, I love nature. So I can go in and just be one with the soil and the plants. Everything has its purpose in life. And everything is, everything's connected through energy. But I'm not good with making sure that I preserve anything that's green.
So you appreciate it, it's just not going to survive on your windowsill.
Yes.
These are good things that we should know about ourselves. Hershey, what is the worst thing you've ever eaten out of politeness?
So there is this, we're being honest here. There is this casserole that my ex-husband cooked, and yes, and if he ever sees this, he's gonna know what I'm talking about. When we first started dating, he wanted to impress me, and he cooked this casserole, and I don't eat boiled eggs, so it had boiled eggs in it, and I took a couple of bites and I liked it, and then when I got to the 3rd bite and had the boiled egg, and I was like, I can't eat this, and he didn't know that. That was his aha moment, his epiphany. He never cooked it for me again. Now, everyone else liked it. I just didn't like it. So yeah, I have to say this casserole. I don't even know what the name of the casserole is, but yeah, it had seafood and boiled eggs and cheese and stuff in it. And yeah,
Okay. Well,
I'm sorry. Well, sorry, not sorry.
she's not sorry at all. If you're watching this, she's not sorry at all. All right, let's see. Oh, now you might have to use your mediator skills a little bit.
Okay.
Does the person flying in the middle seat get both armrests?
No, it's not fair. It's not fair. I'm not even a person that flies in the middle seat, but I wouldn't, if I were in the middle seat, then I wouldn't. I mean, I guess it would just have to, I would have to see who was going to do what first. And if I get one, I can get one, but I think that the person that's flying next to the window, they shouldn't really get an armrest, because it's an unfair advantage at that point. I am a window seat person though. I have to fly window seat because flying increases my anxiety. So I need to see when it's bumpy, I need to see what's going on outside. I'm not sure if that's going to help, but I need to see. But I'm nice and courteous, and I will at least let the other person have the armrest next to me.
All right, so when they fly next to you, they get at least one.
Yes.
All right. Hershania, what is the most recent show that you have binge watched?
Oh, let me see, that I completed or that I started?
Your choice.
Okay, that I completed would have to be, well, because I did them kind of together. So I binge watched the one with, that was talking about, what's his name from the Cosby Show? Bill Cosby. I don't even know how I forget his name. Bill Cosby. There was a documentary about him that I saw that was pretty good. And there was another one that I saw actually on Netflix as well. That one was the one. I can't remember these titles. So it was more so about the Black Power movement. So I did binge watch that. But in terms of like drama and comedy and feel good, was the reboot to Sex and the City. What is the name of that one? See, I can't remember the names of them. And Just Like That.
Okay.
Yeah, because I love Sex and the City, and I did like that one. It's different than Sex and the City, but they kind of merged in some current topics, so I did like it.
All right, I'll have to look for those. And Harshenia, I always leave the last question with all of my guests the same, and that is, what do you love most about the work that we do in the resolution industry?
Oh, I love it the most because we get to be neutral. We don't get to advocate. We get to be neutral and really listen to the parties. Everybody's perspective is different, so we don't infringe our own perspective on what's transpiring in a particular case, but being that person that hopefully helps to settle, to create some type of facilitation for the parties to settle between themselves, or to really resolve any conflict. That's a special place to be in. It's a win. It's a win when you can come out at the end of the day feeling like you've accomplished something and it was very productive between both parties. Yeah.
That's exactly right. All right, super. And if somebody wanted to look you up there in Texas, what's the best way for them to find you?
Well, my website, is it okay to give that information?
You bet.
Sure. So, okay, my website is habrownadr.com.
Very nice. Harshenia, thank you so much for joining me for an idle chat. It was really lovely getting to know you a bit.
Thank you, Natalie, for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. Hi there. Thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and this is another in the series of idle chat videos for the American Bar Association's Section for Dispute Resolution. And today I get to talk to a colleague who, although originally from Baltimore, is now in North Carolina. This is Gary. Hi, Gary.
Hey, how are you, Natalie? Great to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm so glad you could join me. I'm doing very well. So listen, Gary, you and I are scheduled to have an idle chat. And so we're going to shuffle these cards and see what we will be talking about today. I don't know. I know that you're a big golf fan, and I have to admit, I don't have any golf questions on these cards, but maybe we'll find something that we can relate to golf in some way. So, but let's get started. Gary, what is your favorite city?
Oh, it has to be where I am now. I live in Pinehurst, North Carolina. I lived in Baltimore my whole life, but I really, really love it. I love it here. It's peaceful, beautiful, calm, great climate. Sun shines most of the time when it's not raining, and it's just beautiful.
And there's golf courses.
And a lot of golf courses, right? I'm sort of a golf addict. That's my thing, recreationally, and just love it.
Right. See how we tied that in. First question. Nailed it. Nailed it. All right. Next question. Gary, are you a good dancer?
I'm a terrible dancer. But I enjoy it because my wife Brenda is a very good dancer. So I let her take charge and we have fun dancing, even though it's not something I'm naturally adapted to. I'm a little clumsy and a little awkward, but I turn it over to Brenda and we do just fine.
Nice partnership then. Gary, what is the best holiday at your house?
I guess it has to be Christmas. We have 5 children spread in 3 different states, but we all try to get together for Christmas. And particularly the joy now of seeing our 5 grandchildren who are presently 7, 5, and 3 who are 4. It's just wonderful. We love getting them together.
That's the good stuff, isn't it? Good stuff. All right, Gary, next card reads, if you had to live 1 month completely off the grid, would you consider that a holiday or a nightmare?
Oh, a holiday. I get too addicted to my phone and to connections. And I think without being required to do that, I would never really do it. And I think if we had to find a place that we could just be alone and enjoy the beauty of wherever we are and to connect, it would be really great. I kind of grew up in an era where we didn't have all the modern technology. We actually sent letters and we put them in the mail. And the process of being a lawyer was very different. That's much slower. In some ways, I mean, you wouldn't send nasty emails to someone. You'd have to call and say, Natalie, I got this issue with what you did, and we'd talk it out and it would work out. So I think there are a lot of benefits of our modern technology, but I know I, for one, struggle with being too connected to it sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's a challenge for a lot of us. Gary, what artist or band do you always recommend when someone asks for a music recommendation?
I'm a country fan. I don't really have one band I like the most, but it used to be Sugarland was who I liked the most. And I guess they haven't really done much recently, but I listen to most anything country, and Sugarland would be my favorite. We've been to a couple of their concerts and really enjoyed them.
Good for your wife, because that's good dancing music.
Yes.
There you go. All right. What is the oldest thing that you own?
Wow. Well, it used to have been my clothes because I never threw out clothes, but I had sort of a nutritional change a couple of years ago and I lost weight. So I got downsized. So I cleaned out my closet, but it probably would still be that. I probably still have a sport coat I've had since I was a kid, and haven't bought all new sports coats. So it's got to be some ties and sport coats that I probably had for 50 years, which is a bit long, you know.
I suppose that depends where you're starting and ending from, but 50 years, that's a good run for a tie and a coat. Good run. Gary, sir, Miracle Whip or mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise. Has to be Hellman's too if Brenda's in charge. I would get the generic, but she insists only on Hellman's.
You know, there are some things you should go ahead and spend the extra money on. Shoes, mayonnaise.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those that I'm real good about. It's kind of a sick obsession or whatever, weird character defect. I can spend big money on something as a gift for a kid and have no problem with it. But then I go to the store and I think generic or brand name, there's 10 cents different. I get obsessed with those little things. It's kind of weird.
That's all right. We all have those little things. In your opinion, sir, what is fine in small numbers, but terrifying in large numbers?
Beyond
a golf score.
Oh yeah, there's a good one. I guess insects. I don't mind seeing a bee, but I wouldn't like to see a swarm of them. I saw that video of all those birds crashing down somewhere. I don't mind seeing a bird, but I wouldn't want to see, I love to look outside now and see a couple birds in the trees, but I'd be a little scared if I saw 2,000 of them on the trees. So I'm going to pick kind of insects and birds, things of that nature.
I think that, you know, lots of things could be terrifying in a large number. You know, you see a couple of guys rolling down the road on a motorcycle, excellent, fine. See 500,000 of them coming towards you on motorcycles. That would be intimidating.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it could be
That's
anything.
a good question. That's one I hadn't really even ever thought about as a topic for discussion. I like that question.
Oh, well, I'm glad you do. Thanks. All right. Let's see. This one reads, if you could have an all expenses paid trip to see any world monument, which monument would you choose?
I guess the Eiffel Tower. I've been to Paris once and I've seen it, but I know Brenda would really like to go to Europe, and that would probably be the first place we would choose to go to. Although she's Dutch by ancestry, and so Netherlands would be our choice, but I can't think of a monument in Netherlands, so you could probably help me with that. But going to Europe and starting in France and Paris and then heading up to Amsterdam would be my choice.
All right. Well, I've lived in both places. You come this direction and I will absolutely be your tour guide. You just let me know.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Gary, last question I ask every guest, and that is, what do you love most about the resolution industry or the work that we do?
I'm a huge believer in mediation. I work for one of our county courts as what they call settlement officer, which is a little different than what I was trained as a mediator. But it was basically volunteer. It was a very, very minimal compensation. But I love so much being able to take parties who would walk in and say, we'll never settle, and get them to shake hands and both be satisfied afterwards. I'm a trial lawyer by trade. I've tried a lot of cases. It's always stressful. It's very, very expensive and very, very unpredictable. When I did personal injury work, all the cases I tried, the verdict was never, not once, between the offer and the demand. It was always much above the demand or zero or below the offer. And the parties deserve better. And it really, really works. So I'm a huge believer in mediation and even in arbitration. I have a classmate who started an arbitration practice, and in the pandemic, people wanted to get their cases resolved. They go to him before half a day, 6 hours, instead of a 4-day trial. They just present him the documents, maybe the client testifies, and they come away with a fair and reasonable result. So I think it really is better in so many ways. And in family law, which I do now primarily, very, very, very seldom try a case. Once the parties work through their emotions, they usually see the benefits of settling. But when we have to try a case, it's usually because somebody's just off. There's something not right that they can't see the benefits of working it out amicably, particularly when they're family members. I mean, they're going to be parents of the same children. Why create the hostility of having to attack the other parent in court? So cost savings, stress savings, and predictable results are the three main reasons why I think mediation is really the way to go.
Excellent. All right. And if somebody wants to pull you off the golf course and engage your services, what's the best way for them to find you?
On LinkedIn under my name, Gary Miles, and my website is garymiles.net. And love to connect with anyone. I'm huge in wellness in the legal field. I worked with the Lawyer Assistance Committee and the Maryland State Bar for quite some time. And my passion now today is help lawyers have a more successful and fulfilling life.
That's an excellent passion. Thank you so much for all the good work you do.
Thank you, Natalie. Thanks for having me as your guest.
My pleasure.